Hey guys, it's Dr. Bostic, and I am here to speak with you guys about selective schools. So hopefully everyone is wanting to learn about selective schools. So if someone can just put in the chat that you're ready to go and that you can actually hear me and everything's good, I would appreciate it. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you. All right, so let's get started about selective schools. So hopefully many of you will start applying to some selective schools in August. And I just want to make sure that you are ready to go and that you are well informed and that you know what to expect come August. So right now, what you should be doing is you should be researching schools and trying to navigate this entire process. So hopefully this is where I'll come in and I will be able to help you. So I'm Dr. Bostic. I am your college and career counselor for Seniors 2026. So super excited to have my next class of seniors. So let's just go ahead and get started. So right now, what should you be doing? You should be putting up your list of schools. So hopefully you know what to expect with selective schools. The reality can be a little daunting sometimes with selective schools. And when I say selective schools, I'm talking less than 20% of students actually get into that school, meaning it's very difficult to get into. So if you're applying to a Duke, even a Michigan, sometimes even Texas A&M, if it's Georgia Tech, if it's Vanderbilt, if it's any of the Ivies, those are all very selective schools and hard to get into schools. You need at least, at the minimum, I would say, from my experience, a 30 on the ACT. Some students do apply without a test score. However, that makes it much more difficult. So if you're applying without a test score or that is kind of your game plan, then you need to make sure that you have an outstanding resume, outstanding essays, and that your transcript has some very rigorous courses on it. So right now, go ahead and visit some schools that you're interested in. So this year, you actually get 2 free college visits. And what that means is it doesn't count against your absences. So it's not going to count as an excuse or an unexcused absence. It counts kind of like a field trip. So almost like you were at school. So it's not going to count against you on your exams, which is what everyone really wants to know. So go visit 2 schools. Make sure that you turn in your permission forms to Miss Wanda, who is in the attendance office, and you should be good to go. Okay, so let's talk about Common App. The question I get a lot with Common App is simply, should I apply through the Common App? And the answer is always different for every student. If you are applying to Auburn, if you're applying to Ole Miss, if you are applying to Alabama, UAB, UAH, any of these state type schools, the answer is do not apply through Common App for those applications. Okay? If you are applying to Vanderbilt, you need to apply through the Common App because that is the only way that you can apply to Vanderbilt. If you're applying to Vanderbilt and Auburn, or Vanderbilt and UAB, or Vanderbilt and Alabama, you apply to Alabama, UAB, UNA, Auburn, all of those state schools directly through their website. Then apply to Vanderbilt directly through the Common App. The Common App is a lot of work. Students often think it is a click, 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 and magically you apply to all of these schools. Completely wrong. The Common App is a lot of work. You will need a letter of recommendation, a brag sheet. I have a brag sheet online up under my name that you can get and you need to start working on. The sooner you can get me that brag sheet, the more time I will spend on your rec letter. It's very important to not wait until the last minute. So right now, visit schools, do some research on schools that you're interested in. When August the 1st comes, when most applications open, You need to apply to your top 3 schools right away. Always have a safety school, okay? Always. If you plan to apply to any school that is difficult to get into, always have 1 to 2 backups. I say apply to your top 3 right away, okay? By August the 15th or the end of August, you should have already applied to your top 3 schools. A college application is not complete until you send your transcript and your ACT scores. I cannot get into your ACT account. ACT does not allow me to get into your account for your username, for your password. You've got to go in and figure out your username and password. So do that this summer. Log in your ACT account, make sure you've got the right username and password because you're going to need to send your scores to the schools that you're interested in. Okay? A very common question I get is, what is the difference, Dr. Bostic, between early decision, early action, regular decision, and regular admissions? There's so many choices. So early decision is binding. So if you are like 100% sure that if you get into a school, let's say your dream school is Georgia Tech, and you know that if you get into Georgia Tech, that you are going to Georgia Tech, no matter the cost, no matter if you get into Harvard later, no matter if you get into Alabama later, no matter if you get into Texas A&M later and get a full ride, it doesn't matter. That when you apply, you are going to that school if accepted, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You are binded to that agreement. That is early decision. It's binding. The next is early action. It is not binding, meaning that you can get out of it. So if you get accepted, you might go, you might not. Okay, that is early action. I always tell students to apply early action. A lot of times it can give you a little uptick on the admission process. So sometimes it can give you an advantage to apply early action, but no, that's not binding. Early decision is. And then we have regular decision, and then we have rolling admissions. An example of rolling admissions would be the University of North Alabama. If you apply on August the 7th, you might hear back a week or 2 later. Regular decision is kind of like an Alabama, Auburn, most schools, to where if you apply in August, you'll probably hear back in September or October. They kind of go and like, okay, on August the 29th, we're going to take all of our applications and then we're going to release decisions in late September or October. So that's kind of like regular decision. Make sure you submit your transcript. When you submit an application, make sure you always select undergraduate application. If you send in an ACT score and you're not really confident on your ACT score and you want to take the test again, that's fine. I suggest that you take it in July if you have any time this summer. And then also if you have any time in September or October to take the ACT. Those are my 2 kind of final stops. Usually the October test is kind of the last stop on the ACT, because then you get into deadlines, admission deadlines, and scholarship deadlines. So just kind of as a safety, I would have it stop in October taking the ACT test. College reps will be here throughout the year. They'll be here from 8 to 8:30 and then 3 to 3:30. So make sure you read my emails about when college reps will be here. I highly encourage you to visit them. The great thing is they know about specific programs and scholarships within their college that sometimes I'm not even aware of. There are so many colleges that I can't know every scholarship and every program for you guys. So it is very important to reach out to the reps and get information from them, because they kind of know insides and outs of their institution, and they are so happy to help you guys. If you need contacts for reps, they're on the website up under my name, Stephanie Bostic. You'll see where it says admission contacts. Also, keep in mind that most of your scholarships are going to be based off of your ACT and your GPA. That's where the majority of your scholarships are going to come from. You can apply for outside scholarships, but just make sure that you understand that most of your scholarships are going to be based off of your ACT and your GPA, and they will look at the end of your junior year. So they'll base their decisions off of your GPA and your transcript from the end of your junior year. And then when you're applying to selective school, they'll also look at your mid-year report. So for some students, they think, okay, I'm a senior now, so I'm not really, I can kind of slack off, but don't have that mentality just because they will look at your mid-year grades. They'll also look at your rank and the rigor of courses that you have taken. So once you apply to the schools, a lot of the schools are November 1st deadlines and December 1st deadlines. You usually do not hear back until second semester, and that can be all the way until March and April, guys. So just make sure that you understand that and always have a backup. So if your dream school is Duke, find a school that is going to be your backup, meaning that you know you can get into. Okay, that is very, very important to have a backup that you know you can get into, what we consider a safety school. Okay, so the biggest thing, guys, August the 1st is when state applications, they come out. So you need to be applying for your top 3 schools as soon as they come out. Have your transcript sent. You can do that online. And then have your ACT score sent to the institution. That completes your application. And keep in mind, if you are applying to the University of Alabama, you need to make sure that you really spend time on that application. Most application, guys, state applications are only like 10 or 15 minutes. It's like, what's your ACT score, your GPA, you got to send your transcript, send your ACT scores, and then, a little bit of demographic information, and you'll hear back pretty soon. Alabama does theirs a little bit different to where they put in some scholarship money also in their general application. So make sure that you really take the time to look into that Alabama application and really take your time and study and write everything down that you can come up with and that you have completed throughout your high school career. And then, of course, once everything is done within August, you've submitted those applications, you can continue to submit applications, but by Halloween, you want to be kind of done with the application process if you can. And then you'll submit your applications, and then in the spring, you can apply for outside scholarships. And then hopefully you'll hear back from some of your schools. Just know, unfortunately, you will hear no. You will hear more no's than you will hear yeses. Although you might have a 34, 35, a 36, you will probably be rejected from schools. Even if you have a perfect score, you will be rejected from some schools. So the more you can narrow down your list, the better off you're going to be. And it's going to be a lot less stress for you. So the longer your list is and the more schools you apply to, the more work is going to create for yourself. So the more you can kind of narrow it down, the better off you will be. I will be here during the summer off and on, so please make sure that you reach out, and then also know that I sent out a link to where you can come and speak to me. We'll talk about rec letters, if you need to complete the Common App or not. But remember, you only complete Common App from the schools that are required for Common App. So if you're applying to UAB, do not complete it via Common App. Complete it through the website. I'll be here to help you out. I love what I do, and please reach out to me if you have any questions. Speaking of questions, right now, I'm going to kind of give you guys the floor, and if you'll put your questions in your chat, I would love to answer some burning questions that you have. Okay, so either everyone's being shy or I just did an awesome job and you guys don't have any more questions. But if you have some questions you want to reach out to me personally, just know that you can. Oh, I see a question. Awesome. For early action applications, when in August should we apply? So whenever you complete your application, normally it will ask you in the very beginning, are you applying early decision, early action, or regular decision? And that's when you'll select. So whenever their application becomes available, your schools become available, and most are available in August. Then as soon as you open up the application, it will ask you if it's available, which type of admission you are applying for. So not all schools have early action school. Most state schools do not have early action. It's just for selective schools. But you do want to be willing to answer that question if you're interested in the school. Good question. Oh, and go ahead and submit your ACT with the scores that you have. If you increase your ACT score, they will take the highest score. So keep that in mind. You don't really have much to lose by submitting your ACT score as it currently stands. If it improves, then they will take your highest score. If you happen to make a lower score, they're still going to take your highest score. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so that looks like all the questions have been answered. If you just want to private message me, that's fine. Or if you send me an email, that's a great way to get to me also. But I hope you guys have a great summer. And remember, do not complete the Common App until you speak with me. And if you want to meet with me individually, go on the link and sign up for a time this summer. Have a great day, guys.